First, we cut out a stencil using our silhouette machine. A link to the stencils we used is in the description of the video. Once the stencil is made, we have to pick it. That means removing all the places that we want to put paint. The stencils that come in the craft kits, if you picked up a craft kit, have already been picked. Once your stencil is picked, it's time to get your transfer tape. You need to peel the backing off of the transfer tape so that it is sticky side up with the clear side on the bottom. Then you're going to take your stencil and very carefully smooth it on to the sticky part of your transfer tape. There we go. It's important to smooth out all the air bubbles here, especially if you have smaller circles or pieces of your stencil. You'll see what I mean in a minute. Now we're going to peel the back off the transfer tape as well as the back of the original stencil. So there's the back of the transfer tape. And now we also need the back of the original stencil, leaving the colored vinyl behind and still on the sticky part. It helps to go really slowly here. Grab my board and center the stencil wherever you want it to end up on the board. You also want to make sure you do this really slowly and get all the air bubbles out. Make sure there are no air bubbles touching a place where you want to put paint. Once the stencil is down and air bubble free, it's time to pull up your transfer tape. Again, please do this very, very slowly and carefully because it can ruin your stencil if you pull too quickly. Now I'm going to take my chalk paint using a sponge, and I am going to do a very, very light layer. I can't stress this enough. Your stencil is going to turn out best if you do many very, very thin layers. The first layer is not going to look like it's sticking, but just make it as thin as possible, let it dry, and then build up your layers of paint. First couple layers are on. The paint that we're using is Martha Stewart chalkboard paint, and the color is Wedding Cake. It's available at Michael's. I'm not showing you in the video because it wouldn't be very entertaining, but I'm making sure that my coat of paint is completely dry before I add another coat of paint. I left my paint to dry overnight so that it was 100% dry. If not, it can smudge. Now it's time to pull out my vinyl stencil. Just like every other part of this process, I urge you to go very slowly. Going too quickly will rip the stencil and make it harder to remove. For any little bits that get left behind, I recommend taking a paper clip and very carefully and slowly picking them up off your board. And there we go, your finished chalkboard sign to inspire you while you're at home.